you started off with the Albany Fraser, and then you then started the project in Norseman around the Jimbalana dike. I hope I pronounced that correctly.
Yes, you did. Yep.
When we started, we talked about what you did initially and what you guys sort of knew at that time, and you've done obviously a fair bit of work there now. Have you sort of had any light bulb moment and said, oh yeah, maybe we should be doing this now instead of that, since you started working there?
The targets continue to expand, which is the amazing thing for us. So often with exploration, after you've done a number of rounds, the targets will get smaller because you're focusing in on those areas of most interest. What we've found at Norseman is that the targets just keep getting bigger. So we have 3 geological domains that we are focusing on. The one at the Jimbalana, which you mentioned. We also have the Mission Sill and the Mount Thirsty Sill. So those 3 prospects are significant targets, and every time we undertake air core drilling, we find that the strike length increases. So we're really now looking at the best way of focusing in on those areas of higher grade using geophysics and RC drilling.
Okay. Is the geology at Norseman similar to Albany Fraser in terms of what it is, first of all, and how potentially it is being emplaced?
It depends how you look at it. We are looking for ultramafic rocks, but the ages are very different, and the method of emplacement of those rocks is very different. So we're talking about 1 billion years of age difference. So
Okay.
immediately you can understand that there is significant differences between the type of rocks, and then it's about how they are emplaced. So the sills we are looking at, and a sill is a name for a rock unit that's come up from the depths as a magma, and then is concordant or parallel to the stratigraphy. So those are usually emplaced at shallow depths. And then the Jimbalana dike is a very large scale, 300 kilometre long cross-cutting dike, which is a unit of rock that's broken open the host rock and then filled it in with molten magma, which is then solidified. The Fraser Range, just by comparison, is most likely a deeper style of intrusive body that's come in and been in place at perhaps 8 to 10 kilometres. So different types of emplacement, but when you look at the rock and hand specimen, and particularly if you're looking at the sulfides are the key elements, and they look very similar, and they respond the same way to geophysics, and we target them the same way with drilling.
Did you say the chemistry of the host rock could be similar, or would they be totally different?
The chemistry of the host rock is it's similar. So we're looking at a volcanic sedimentary package of rocks, and particularly at Mount Thirsty, where there is a unit of sedimentary rocks which is hit by an ultramafic magma that is a trigger for sulfide development. And we see some of those processes operating in the Fraser Range, but to a lesser extent. So we are seeing some similarities, and also some very important key differences. So the targeting of mineralization at, say, the Mount Thirsty Sill is based around where that ultramafic has hit the sediment and then triggered sulfide saturation and the dropping out of the sulfides. And hopefully those sulfides will contain economic amounts of palladium and nickel, which is our next drilling program.
Yep. Okay. And I guess, not to harp on this topic, but has strategies changed since, in terms of how you look for it? Because obviously exploration is about hit and misses, and we've had this discussion. I've had this discussion with a lot of people as well. Is that exploration is not a overnight process, right? It's most times it's decades, depending on which part of the timeline you come into it. You benefit from those previous work. So what from you guys have started and you looked at it, and has your thinking and strategy changed in terms of how you guys work? Yep.
Yeah, the high level strategy hasn't changed, and that is to try and make discoveries. How we go about it does change, and I've heard a description of intelligence, which is someone who is intelligent is measured by what you do when you don't know what to do, right? So you think about that for a while, you're not exactly sure how to go about exploring. You can't say what you'll be going on and doing in 6 months' time, but you work on a day-to-day basis, collecting the information and refining what you do as you go. If you had and maintained one strategy over the course of the exploration program, you'll find that it'll be inefficient and you'll waste money. So you need to keep refining what you do based on new information coming in. And that's exploration.
Again, looking into this, because obviously I'm an exploration geologist and you're at the coalface doing this. When you look at your projects now, and whether you use Norseman or the Albany Fraser as the example, are we looking at obviously you're looking for nickel, palladium, everything else. Are you thinking that you might be in a different mineralizing sort of not event, but process, like how when we were the progress of nickel exploration, Komatiites was not sort of there. Then you have Julimar's, concept came up, was again not something we were commonly doing. So do you think you might have that something different, or that means that you have to think differently?
Absolutely. I think we have the potential at Norseman to be looking at a new area or province with a lot of potential for palladium and nickel, away from the Komatiite style of mineralisation. And this is really focused around Norseman with the Jimbalana dike and the two sills that we have there. So it's quite a unique geology. And we are exploring that and hoping to make discoveries. And if we are successful, I think that'll be the development of a new palladium-rich province, but we'll have to wait and see.